Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a country fence scene. It's going to be a pasture scene landscape. I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat during a live show today, so if you have questions, you can ask those, and I will try to answer them. Let's get started. Okay, so here's our reference photo. You already saw a picture of it there at the beginning, but I really liked the composition, the colors and everything. Of course, we're going to have to add some flowers to it, so I took this picture the other day when we were out. It's got some purple. You can't really tell. It's a little bit washed out there, but there's some purple and white flowers, so we're going to add those to the very bottom here to give it a little bit more, you got to have flowers. I'm using a 9 by 12 inch canvas panel today. This is a Belgian linen panel from Fredrix, their canvas sponsor. So thank you to them for providing the canvas. And they come white, obviously, but I have coated it with a coat of yellow oxide to start with for our background. Our brushes today are going to be the number 12 bright, a number 2 flat, and number 4 filbert in the 6 to 100 series from Princeton. And then I've got some of the Velvet Touch line here. I've got a 1/4 inch and a 3/8 inch angle shader, and the same size as 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch Willows blenders. Those are just a rounded, stiff bristled filbert for some of the foliage, and then a 10-aught liner and a number 2 round for some of the smaller details and the flowers and things. Then I've got a 3/8 inch and 5/8 inch Deerfoot Stippler. Those are also kind of for some of the foliage and things. Clouds and such. And then I've got a fan brush. This is a 10-aught bristle fan from their select line. So these are all from Princeton. They're our brush sponsor. So thank you to Princeton for providing our brushes. Let's go over our colors. We've got carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, quinacridone burnt orange, Indian yellow hue, cadmium yellow medium, cadmium yellow light, phthalo green yellow shade teal, phthalo blue green shade, ultramarine blue, dioxazine purple, quinacridone magenta, and cadmium red light, the unbleached titanium, titanium white, and some zinc white. And then this is our glazing liquid. If you don't have these exact colors, just use what you've got. I've got a lot of different colors out here, but a lot of these you can mix, especially like things like the teal and such. And I think the yellow, Indian yellow is kind of a mixable color too. So anyhow, that just speeds it up for me when I'm working to have the pre-mixed colors out. All right, so let's draw out our composition. Our main focal point is obviously this big old fence post here. It is almost directly on the third mark, and then the other third mark, we've got our little house and this fence post here, this next fence post. So we can kind of start by sort of just generally marking those out, and if you kind of look down here, they really do kind of, this one just kind of comes straight up the middle from where the third is. So if you kind of just make a rough line up like this, it diagonals off. Here is our halfway mark on our canvas right there. So it is not quite, let me see if this is the third here this way. Yeah, the top of the mountain range is a third. So come just down just a little bit off of the third in this area here. So just below the third is where you're going to stop that fence post. And it goes all the way down. And it's not straight, so you can just kind of, this is the nice thing about this sort of doing these sort of rustic fences, because they're never really quite straight, so you don't have to worry about drawing it just right. It's not like it has to line up. Okay, so then our perspective is going to come down to, I think our focal point is probably right off the corner here, which is just below the halfway mark right here. And then you're going to kind of line up the tops of these fences with that. So if you did a straight line through here, the tops of our fences are going to kind of come through there, and then the bottoms are going to come there as well. They're all going to kind of point to that spot there. So if you have a ruler handy while you're drawing this out, it might help you just to kind of every now and then refer back to that and just make sure that you're not getting one of these fence posts way up here, and it'll get kind of off, your perspective off. So right off there, it's just right at the edge of the canvas is where these are all going to line up. You can see how that works. And these are all going to line up this way, just like that. All right, so here's our little fence post here, and that is, let's see, this one was right on the third here. So doing these two will help. This one's a lot narrower, obviously, and shorter. And again, it's going to be fitting in this little wedge shape right here, right on this third. Okay, and then our cross piece is going to come across like that, go right off past the edge of that, and it's going to also kind of narrow, so just kind of keep in mind, watch those lines, make sure it is matching up right there. We're kind of seeing the butt end of it right there. Then this one is going to come right here, and it's going to end kind of right on that post in front of it, come a little bit past it right there. And then there is no top rail, but we are seeing kind of where the top rail would have been, right at the almost at the top of this thing, just underneath it. There is our horizon line right here that comes across and angles out this way a little bit, like that. And then our hill, our house, is just above it, and it is kind of comes up like this. It's kind of on this little rolling hill that comes down and meets up with that line there. Okay, and let's do our little post here, and then there's another bigger post. It's a little bit taller just right here. Okay, then this piece goes here, this one's here, and we're seeing both of the ends of those kind of meeting up with these boards that are coming in. Hopefully I'm not going too fast here. I just don't want to spend all our time drawing today. Now these ones are more along the their focal point is changing. Maybe we need to come out a little bit farther with our focal point, but I feel like these ones are kind of on a axis here, and then this one is obviously kind of doing its own thing, coming way out this way. So it's not quite on the same point as the others. Because if it was, it would be angling down this way, right? So it's actually going up this way. Okay, then we've got our tree line that's going to come right up like that, little wedge shape right here, and then another one right above here, coming down, back up, and there's a little piece of mountain right here, and coming back up like that. Are we okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. I can't see the screen. Do you have it over there for a reason? Oh, you're messing with it. Okay. All right, then our fence is going to continue off here. You're going to see some more fence posts, and it does this kind of snaking S curve and meets up with just above this line here that we drew across right here. And so it's got some more fence posts right here that we're going to see. And these are very small, close together. And then there is a road that S's off from right there. It kind of goes between those two posts and comes out like that. And then we're seeing the kind of middle line as well of it. And then this is all grass, grass, grass. There's some stones in the grass down in here. We can put those in before we Got our grasses in or right around the same time. There's a couple stones right there. And then all the rest of this is all going to be grasses and flowers and things. Right, and then our little houses, and there's other little buildings in here, but I'm not going to really mess with those. If you want to put them in, you can, but I don't really want to take the time to do that. So I'm just going to do the main building and the fence that's our focal point, and not really worry about these side buildings. They're not really essential to the composition, I don't think. Okay, so there's a couple little trees here and here. And another one right in here. Sorry for the burp there. Okay, good. All right, so then the house is not quite facing us, but we're going to have the two front sides here. Can you once you zoom in a little bit so they can see this? There we go. That's good. So this one is going to kind of come straight. And the roof line is going to come out from it a little bit. And then we're going to see a kind of a triangle right here. So that's the front of the house. And then it's going to angle back. And this will be parallel with this line and this line. This line is going to come out a little bit farther, and it's going to be parallel with this line. And then this line here for the back of the roof is going to parallel this line. And this line really, it's slightly tapering, but it's so far away, we're not really seeing that taper much, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Okay, so that's pretty much it for our drawings. Let's get painting. That took a while. 18 minutes of drawing.
Well, you were about 5 minutes late, so
That's true.
not too bad.
Not too bad. All right. Sorry, I was putting out my paint. I didn't realize. I was actually doing my nails. Truth be told, they needed it. They're so beat up. Renovation has not been kind for my nails. You need to zoom out so I can paint them, please. No, paint the painting. All right. Getting some ultramarine blue here and some phthalo blue, about equal parts. I'm going to use a little bit of burnt umber just to gray it out just a little bit so it's not super bright blue. I'm going to use some white, quite a bit of white. And you notice that I'm pulling a little bit off here and then working on a cleaner spot on my palette. And that way I don't, if I tried to mix right here, what I'd end up doing is getting into this clean paint, and I don't want to do that. If I have my mixes too close to my paint puddles here, you just end up making a big mess. So find a clean spot well away from your paints. Just grab a little dab of it and mix them over here while you're working. That'll keep you from wasting paint. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty color. So I'm going to just kind of brush this on side to side quickly, starting with my darkest color up in the top corner. And then as I work down and towards this side, I'm going to add more white. And I don't want to cover up I'm going to put my hand there so I don't cover up my sun, because I've done that before. This is just for me. You may not have to do this, but I do, because I tend to cover my sun up with paint. And by sun, I mean S-U-N, not S-O-N.
Okay, I wanted a clarification on that,
right.
Just in case.
So we are in our new studio. This is our second week filming in our new studio. We still don't have doors on the closet yet, and I could not decide on a color, so I asked my Facebook folks to pick the color. So those are actually just got painted today, so they're outside, and I'll be posting pictures of them on Facebook this week. So if you want to see what color they chose, you can join my Thankful Art group there. I'll probably post it on Instagram too. Is it too far away? Yeah, my mic stand has decided not to bend. So it's just like this straight line all the way from the table, like facing straight at me. It's a little intimidating.
So we're going to buy you a new one.
Right in my face.
A better one.
Yeah, we need a new. We do. All right, I'm going to clean that out and switch to some yellow for our horizon line. Make sure you get most of that blue out of there. You don't want a green sky. There is a little bit of green. There's a touch of green in there, but it's not a whole lot. All right, I'm going to grab some of that yellow. I am going to grab a little tiny bit of that blue to gray it out just a little bit. And of course we've got that yellow underneath too. That's going to help tint it as well. It just barely peeks through. I don't know if you can see, but it's a really pretty color for landscapes. I really like starting with it underneath. Just adds a little extra layer of color. Gives your landscapes a little bit more richness and depth. But you can totally skip that phase and just go straight to this paint phase and ignore that yellow oxide completely, or if you don't want to put that in. No, the sun's going right here.
Okay, just making sure you don't paint up the sun.
Thanks.
There.
There's our sun right there.
Can you label it? No, okay.
Big yellow one's the sun. That's for all the Brian Regan fans out there. You're welcome. Alrighty. And as you can see, first stages are never all that pretty. So just know that going into it, with acrylics especially, there's lots of layers that you have to build up on to get it to, look good. So just know that it's probably going to look worse before it looks better. This is definitely not blended yet, and we've got a lot of work to do on it, but this is a good first start. So when you get to this point, and if you, if you get here and you're like, oh, my blue and my sky is already dry, just do your best and kind of blend it over. It doesn't have to, you don't have to blend them together right now. You can do that later. So, and the best thing is to wait and just don't try to get a finished product in your first layer. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was learning to do acrylics, and the most beginners, I think, make, is that they don't realize that there are a lot of stages to get your painting to look good, and you just have to kind of be patient and let each layer dry with acrylics before you build up your next layer. Don't try to kind of finish your sky in one setting and do all your clouds right now and do all the birds and everything on top in just one layer. It's going to look flat and it's not going to be well blended, and you're going to have issues with lifting and things because parts of it are start to get dried and start to get sticky. When acrylics dry, they start to get sticky, and so things will start to dry on you, and then you'll lift your paint and they'll get gloppy, and it just makes a big mess. So do one layer, leave it. Even if it looks terrible, don't mess with it. Just let it set, let it dry, and then we'll come back to it. And we're going to work on some other areas, and then once it's completely dry, we'll come back to it.
Okay, I've got a question.
Okay.
Somebody wants to know, is it better to mix your paints? So I guess it's meaning, is it better to buy them the color you want, or is it better to mix them to the color you want?
I want to say she's talking about using the colors straight out of the tube, and not, you definitely want to mix your colors, because the colors in the tubes are super highly concentrated with the heavy body acrylics, especially. I'm getting some of this yellow that was up in the sky, and going to mix it with my Indian Yellow Hue, and I added a little bit of green to it too. I'm going to use this on my hillside right here. It's very faint. It's pretty close to the sky color, just a little bit darker. The colors that come straight out of the tube are, Ginger Cook calls them circus colors. I love that name. But basically it's true. They're like, you know, they're just super bright, happy, you know, maybe kids' room colors, you know, if you were wanting something, you know, fun and, but not necessarily realistic. They're not gonna look realistic. So colors in nature are very varied. And a lot of times, especially with landscapes, are quite dulled. They're much more neutral than we realize. So when you paint this, you know, super bright green right out of the bottle, it's not gonna, it's, your eyes just gonna go, nope, it's not right. And you have issues. So my black pencil is mixing with my paint here. If you kind of wonder, well, these kind of gray lines are happening here, that's just from the watercolor pencil that I used to draw with. And I do have traceables that will be available. So if you want, if you don't want to draw and you just want to get to the fun of painting, you can purchase those. They're $1 a month for as many traceables as you want to download. I've got them for all of my tutorials since 2017 and most of the ones from before that, but, well, not most of them, but some of them, I should say. Not most. Some. All right, so I've mixed some of the burnt quinacridone burnt orange with the phthalo green now, and I'm going to add some of this yellow color too. Dull it down just a little bit. And I still have this other color that I mixed, so it's, I haven't cleaned out my brush. I've got all these colors going on here. I'm just going to add this little bit darker color up here. As we get away from the sun, these colors are going to get a little bit deeper. And as they get closer to us, they'll get a little bit more saturated with color, so they'll be a little bit brighter and deeper colors. Let me see. So I feel like, okay, I'm missing a hillside right here that kind of comes up right in here. There's some greenery. And I'm just going to use this brush and tap it in. I could switch to my Willows blender at this point, but I'll probably just do that when I'm just laying the undercolors right now. I'm not worried too much about the overall look. I'm just trying to kind of look and see where my values are darkest and try to get kind of an underlayer of the darker values in here. So that then I can come in here and add some of the highlight colors over the top with my Willows blenders and add texture and things. But I've just got to get some color down on the canvas first. Okay. It's probably a little bit dark right there, but that's okay.
So just a reminder for everybody that if you click the show more or the little arrow down, depending on what device you're on, you can see the list of all the colors and materials and brushes that Angela thinks she's going to use.
Right.
They're usually almost 100% accurate, but
most of the time.
Sometimes she adds different things in or doesn't use everything.
I think this time I used all the same. Or had Mark read it off to me, so I stayed on target this time.
Stay on target.
Exactly. Sometimes just before the show, as I'm putting out colors, I'll look at my reference photo and realize that I've missed a color or something that I think I might want to use. Add one at the last minute, but I didn't do that today. Okay, so you can kind of see where I'm trying to leave my drawing or, you know, little bits of, there's a line here that's going to be, I'm going to actually get some of that lighter color. And keep your paints wet while you're working on them. That way they don't dry out on you. And be sure that you're wetting your brush down frequently. Okay, so my paint's starting to dry. Let me show you what happens when you mess with paint. I added thinned paint over the top of paint that was starting to dry, and this is what happens. You can see what happens. It's pulling that paint right off the canvas. It's like, it's just washing it off, basically. Huh?
Like erasing it?
Yeah, it's basically erasing it because that paint was just starting to dry, so it's sticky, and it's just going to stick to that paint that's on my brush, and my paintbrush is a little bit wetter than it is, and so it just lifted it right off. I did that on purpose there just to show you, but normally you want to avoid that. So if you see the paint start showing through your canvas, just stop. Just don't touch it. Just move away, because the tendency is to try to like keep adding more paint, and that will just make it your area of problem area bigger. You're just going to spread it.
I would say that too. Saying that I meant to do that.
You meant to do that.
But I'm glad to see that you're using a lot of good Celtic colors. That's encouraging.
Is it Celtic season? It's not basketball season yet, is it? It's summertime. It's baseball season, right?
Yeah, but there's never a bad time to talk about the Celtics.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
Okay. I thought I missed something.
Well, you're such a big sports fan, so.
Right, I follow it really carefully. So no, you're shocked that I don't know that. It's not basketball season. Okay, so I'm just kind of tapping in some of this color right along here. I'm definitely going to be deepening it up, but I'm just going to put it along either side of my road here. And I am kind of just tapping it so it has a little bit of stippled texture. So it already kind of looks like grasses a little bit. And then up here I'm going to do a little bit of the darker color. I'm going to add a little teal to it. I like to use teal in some of my back mountains. Just as a nice color. Even if it's not there, it just adds a little bit.
So we got a question here.
Yes.
They would like to know, how do you determine what color to use for your background color before you start painting?
I usually, well, in landscapes, yellow oxide is a pretty good, just basic color, unless there's something about it that makes me, like say, it was a blue background or something like that, then I wouldn't use it. But like the whole thing was like nighttime or something like that, and it was a weird color. But if it's a daytime scene and you're going to have some of these golden colors in there, yellow oxide's a really good undercolor to use just in general for landscapes. And I mean, it kind of depends on, there's different things that you can choose to, different reasons, to use different colors. So if you wanted something that was really kind of poppy and vibrant, and like you're not going to use the normal colors on it and make it look a little bit more artsy, kind of not pop art, but you know what I'm saying. I think hopefully, like use unusual colors for your landscape. Then you could pretty much use any color you wanted to, and like something like an orange or a bright pink or something looks really nice underneath. If you're going to be using like unusual colors and things, even still, we could have used like a Quinacridone Magenta or something under here, and it would give it like a little bit more rosy glow to our landscape. Okay, so now I'm going to go a lot darker right here in these foreground trees. There's going to be a lot more contrast between the light and dark in these foreground areas. Farther away, there's not as much contrast between the light and darks. They're all kind of washed out together, but right up in here in the foreground, we're going to see a lot of contrast. So, and actually this is in silhouette for the most part because it's behind the sun, so this is dark anyways, regardless. There's really not a whole lot of highlight in here. There's a little bit peeking through though. before I get up to the horizon line there, I'm just going to tap in a little bit of color kind of up towards it, but I really don't want to get too high up there. This is all kind of solid down here, but as you get closer to that horizon line, you're going to have a lot more of that sky color showing through, and I brought that sky down over the top of my trees, but I'm not ready to put them in there because I'm not done with my sky yet. So let's do that before we go any farther with those trees right there. I'm gonna get one more layer here, and I'm just gonna really try to cover up that line that I drew. This is that yellow from the sky. Cadmium yellow light, or cadmium yellow medium with a little bit of white and just a tiny bit of our sun is actually just right above and to this side of that fence post. So I kind of did it over a little bit far. Pretty low on the horizon line. Right in here somewhere. I was saying something, I can't remember what I was saying.
You were saying, hi, everybody. Thanks
Hi.
for joining us today.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was just thinking that.
We're glad that you've joined us on
We
this
are glad.
great Saturday in July.
You hanging out with us
Yeah.
on Saturday.
For some reason, it's hard to remember what day it is lately.
It is, I know. I lost 4 days somewhere in this week. So I went to write a check, which I haven't done in years. I've written more checks this last 3 weeks than I've written in the last probably 10
3
years. Literally, I'm not kidding. It's crazy because all the vendors and everything require checks. So
It's amazing how times change.
I know. So that I digress, but I don't know what I was saying. Oh, I went to write a check and it was I had lost, I guessed at the date and it was 4 days off. I had lost 4 days somewhere.
Yeah, at least you got
no idea where they went.
Did you get the year right?
I did get the year right. But, yeah.
Somebody would like to know, is it harder to glaze with lighter colors?
I definitely think it is more tricky, for sure. Kind of shows everything. It's sort of like having a white wall, if you think about it. It's going to show all your fingerprints and every little thing. So, all right, so I'm going to get some more of this sky color here. And I'm going back to my bigger brush just so it's easier to work these larger areas. And I'm going to give it a second coat. So I kind of got some of this in here. This is still wet, so I can kind of gently sort of brush over it and blend those together a little bit. I'll definitely have to blend back in because you could see how that kind of abruptly stops right there. I don't want that to stay looking like that, so I'll have to go back in and blend that again a little bit, but I'm going to bring my blue down into my over the top. And then let's grab some of that cadmium yellow light again. That's what I was using down here. I don't know if I mentioned that. I was talking cadmium yellow light and white. Okay, so that's not bad. We're getting closer to where we want to be. Let's keep on working down here now that we've got that second coat on there. I'm going to grab I'm going to keep on with this bigger brush, and I'm going to grab some of this sort of lighter green, and I'm just going to tap along that horizon line right there, right up to the fence, a little bit over it, but I don't want to lose my lines, so just kind of be careful there. Don't cover up everything that you've, all of your pencil lines. That area right there along the horizon is pretty light.
We got a good question. Somebody wants to know why the yellow isn't turning green in the sky, I guess when you did the sun. The blue was dry. Was the blue dry?
Yeah, the blue was dry when I put the yellow on, so it wasn't blending together. It was just kind of laying on top. And then I did the blue over the top of the dried yellow. They did blend a little bit. It is a little bit of greenish-ish, but it's not. And the color in the reference photo is slightly greened, but I'm going to add a little bit more of a rosy color to my horizon line there when it dries. It's ready for some more color. Okay, so let's go in here. So this is my fence post, so I'm going to go ahead kind of right in between here and do some of my grasses, and I'm going to get some of this darker green here and mix it with some of the lighter green. Maybe get some of this is a purple mixed with the green and brown right here that we used in these trees, which I'm going to add a little bit lighter version over the top just to soften it up a little bit. Go right along that edge there. And I'm just kind of tapping with my brush so that I'm not getting a harsh line. To stay soft, and I want to go right up to where my sun is, just so that I've kind of completed that area. I'm definitely going to go up a lot higher with it later, but right now I'm just trying to kind of get some color down. So I'm going to go a little bit darker right in here in this grass area. And what I'm probably going to do is go ahead and kind of put these background grasses in before I even put my fence in. The fence will probably be one of the last things that I put in, as far as I will kind of work from back to front. So we'll and if you were doing this, what you could do is not draw in your fence until the very end, and do your grasses, finish most of the grasses. You obviously won't do the ones that are right in front here, but you could still kind of put the background in for them. And these ones are really dark right in here, so I'm going to go a lot darker. Just paint without even having those fences in mind, and that way you won't have to worry about going around them with your grass. And I'm probably going to just paint right over the top of some of them. This is all grass in here. And you can see that I'm kind of going along in the direction that grass is going to grow, not doing my lines in this way, side to side, because what would happen is when I went to go and put my grasses in over the top, I'd be fighting these lines, and you could see them through. You'll be able to see those horizontal lines through your grasses because they're going to be like this, so you're going to end up with this cross-hatching thing. So just when you're doing your background, always go in the direction that your grasses are going to grow. And you don't have to worry about any overlapping layers not making sense. All right.
Are you talking about me again?
Overlapping layers not making sense?
Yeah. Just the not making sense part.
Just not making sense. Sometimes that happens.
Like right now.
I'm going to grab some burnt sienna this time instead of the burnt umber. It'll be just a little bit softer look. I'm going to keep on working.
I got the ignore.
No comment.
Check.
I got the ignore button. Keep on working. La la la. Did you say something?
What?
I didn't hear you.
No, I don't think I said anything.
Okay.
No.
All right, good. I'll keep going then.
Did I mute your mic? I'm sorry. I must have pressed the wrong button.
It's awesome. Not. Not really. All right. That's pretty good. Definitely going to have to go a little bit darker with these, but and I'll go ahead and put in our rock color, which is basically just going to be burnt umber, I think. And our soil over here, I'm going to grab some of the unbleached titanium, and there's actually a little bit of blue in it. Looks like it's kind of a gray blue color, and I'm just gonna tap that in to our road.
Man, that was a little itty bitty bit of blue you grabbed there.
Yeah.
Just saw it on replay.
Yeah, just the tiniest bit. I don't know why I'm doing that, because these are going to get all painted over, but I've got it on my brush, so why not, right? I'm using the same color from the road here, just using it up, putting it on our fence here. We have no doors still, so
right.
Every noise just comes right through.
I told Spencer, I reminded him that we have no doors.
Yeah.
So any noises he makes.
Right, are going to get broadcast to the world.
So no yelling.
And recorded on YouTube forever. Yeah, no yelling, exactly. Alrighty, so it looks a little bit weird. We got all kinds of stuff going on here that doesn't quite make sense yet, but it will. We'll get it there. I'm going to go ahead and make these connect here by matching up that color from this section and this section so that they kind of make sense. And then it goes on into this section here. These are a lot lighter down here, so there's not as much of the light colors, but I am wanting some of the dark in there. Okay, there we go. So you can see how just by putting that yellow green right here by that sun, it already kind of looks like it's glowing. That hill already sort of looks like it's got some sunlight hitting it just by matching it almost, just mixing some of that sky color down into our green here and making them pretty similar in color. So that's a good tip, really, anytime you're doing a sky and mountains like that, if you want them to kind of blend like that or look like they're kind of fading in the sunlight, use your sky color on your mountain. All right. So, first layer of hotness, check. My tag is making noises here. I'm going to tear it off. apron tag. I kept hearing it. It was like crinkling every time it hit my chair. It's driving me crazy. Okay. New apron. Ish. I've been using it for about 2 weeks. Drink break. All right. So should be dry. Let's go ahead and work on our sky and our clouds.
Ooh, you rhymed. This should be dry, so let's work on the sky. Ooh, 2 brushes.
2 brushes. I got 2 brushes. I'm two fists in the brushes now today. I watched a replay. I told Mark, what?
Is this real life?
It's real life.
You're like, I got 2 brushes.
Two brushes. 2. All right, so let's use a little bit of the cadmium yellow and some of that. And I'm trying to see what that cloud color is. It's kind of a yellow, but it's got that blue-gray. So I think if I mix up, I'm going to mix up some of that gray that I like to use, that burnt umber and ultramarine blue. And I'm going to mix up quite a bit of it because I'm going to use it on my fence too. It's going to make a brownish black brown. It depends on if you add more blue, it'll be more of a blue-gray, and if you add more brown, it'll be a brownish gray. So this looks like it's got a little bit more of the brown to it. So let's add a little bit more of the blue. In fact, I'll use a little bit of that phthalo blue with it too. There we go. So now we've got a nice base, and you can see I'm just kind of squeegeeing off my brush there, smushing it, all the paint off of it before I clean it. I don't waste any paint. And try to keep it into the smallest, tightest puddle that I can. The more you spread out your paint, the faster it's going to dry on your palette. So that's why I also only pull from one side of my paint puddles. I don't dip right into the middle because it spreads it out, and then it dries it out faster. So if I keep spraying it and only pull from one side, it gives me a little bit more drying time. Whoa, I can't get this up. Just grab off my palette real quick. That blue was starting to dry. I didn't want to get into it. And I need a clean spot to work with.
Man, you have evolved from styrofoam plates.
I know.
To disposable palette paper.
Right.
To now this. How did you ever paint before?
Don't know. I'll go ahead and just take all that off. That's all dry anyways. Okay.
Hey, I wonder if we can sell that smudged paint there that you just scraped off.
I've got plenty of actually finished paintings that I need to sell.
Oh, okay.
I don't need to be selling anything else. Abstracted, whatever. Okay, let's go. Set this on, get a fresh paper towel there. All right, so I've got the yellow, and I'm going to add just a little bit of this blue-gray that I mixed into that yellow. So a little bit of yellow with my Zinc White, which is transparent, which actually probably would work better if we used a transparent yellow. Cadmium Yellow Light is not transparent, but it is what it is. It'll help it a little bit. Titanium White is super opaque, so it'll really overwhelm your painting if you use it on your clouds. All right, so I do use it sometimes when I want really bright areas, but that's about right. I'm going to actually get a little bit more of that darker. Let's just add a little bit of white to this color here. Yeah, there we go. I'm just got both brushes out because I'm going to see which one I like better for this. Let's go ahead and get some of that sky blue color back in. So that was ultramarine blue and a little bit of brown and phthalo green, or phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, which is basically that color, only a little bit more concentrated blue, not as much brown. Okay, there we go. Just getting these colors set up ahead of time so that I can kind of work quickly while I'm doing my clouds. I think I'm going to just use this is a pretty small area that I'm working on, so I don't think I need the bigger brush there. I'm going to use a smaller one. This is that blue sky background color, so I'm going to blend it over into that gray, and then I'm going to grab some more of that gray and kind of blend those two together so it's got a soft look. Okay, then I'm going to pick up some of this brighter yellow for some of my clouds, and I still have these other colors in there. This is Zinc White with it. So with clouds, you really want to slowly build up your layers. You don't want to put out too much color right off the bat. Otherwise it can kind of get overwhelmed with and start looking solid. Wash all that darker color out of there. I'm kind of using 50-50 here with the titanium white, just so it covers just a little bit better. There we go. All right. See what happens if we add just a touch of this quinacridone orange. QBO. Quinacridone burnt orange.
Yeah, you got to say it like an engineer. It's QBO.
QBO.
We don't have time to say the whole thing, so
right.
Let's get moving. QBO.
Come up with a shorter version.
You need a TLA for it.
I'm not sure what that means.
A 3-letter acronym.
Ah.
Again.
A TLA for my TLA?
Yes.
Okay.
A TLA for your QBO.
For my QBO. Got it. Yeah, that's the color I was looking for right there. That little bit of a brighter, rosier color. And we'll use it as we get closer to the horizon line too. So, I can use a little bit of this darker gray up in here. Here we go. And then what's going to happen is like right in here where that's getting closer to the sun, we're going to get more yellow and more, a little bit more yellow and more brightness right in these areas that are closer. And then as we get farther away, we're getting this kind of more rosy color, more purpley almost. Right up in here with some just zinc white, really bright. I'm setting my brush down and just, I don't have a whole lot of paint on there. You should still be able to kind of see the separations in your bristles. If you can't see your bristles, then you have too much paint on there. Because you got to be able to squish it around and use that texture of the brush to smush your paint around.
Okay, I was going to just ask
Add
if
a
it's
texture.
just squishing or was it squishing and smushing, but you clarified that. Thanks. It's both. So when do you know, when do you squish and when do you smush? I mean, what are the...
I knew that was coming. I knew. I was waiting for you to start saying that. I knew it. I was just sitting here smiling, waiting for you to start that conversation with me.
Okay, so I noticed that you're avoiding the question.
It's all personal preference, I guess. I don't know. Just get a feel of whatever is in the moment. Just go with it. All right, so I need to blend out this line right here. So I'm going to start with that sun color, and I'm just going to kind of come up over the top and get some of my bright sunlight color and pull it up over. And this time I do have kind of, I need to clean that brush out. It is not coming clean. I have too much of that dark blue from before and it's still, come on out of there. There we go. Some of that yellow. I need to spray my canvas. I'm going to get a little glazing liquid just to give me a little bit extra time to play with the paint here on the canvas. Getting some white in that cadmium yellow, medium. There are some clouds through my sun, so I'm going to kind of tap in those clouds right there. That's also going to kind of help obscure that line between the blue and the yellow. And if you're still seeing a lot of it, you can just let it dry and keep going and just keep working on it until that line blends out. It doesn't matter how many layers it takes. Just keep on kind of working it until you get kind of that soft transition between these colors. It may take you, 5 layers instead of just 2. It just depends on how your paint's cooperating with you. Sometimes it works faster than others. Don't get discouraged if it takes a while, for that to happen. And, I get comments sometimes that are like, I can't get mine to look the way yours does, and honestly, I think that, when we're learning to paint, our goal doesn't necessarily have to be to look exactly like the instructor, but just kind of to get a feel for the materials, get a concept of the techniques. Yep, and then you can kind of adapt them to your own natural painting style. So, you may use a little bit more paint than I do naturally, and so it may not come out looking exactly like mine. And if you look at my Facebook groups, that's one of the things I enjoy about watching, getting your paintings, seeing your paintings that you've done for my tutorials, because there may be, 12 people in there that have done the same exact painting and they'll all look different. So just like we all have different handwriting, we're all going to hold the brush differently, we're all going to use our paint differently, and so that is totally part of the artistic process, is just kind of expressing your own unique style. So it doesn't have to be just like mine. So don't get discouraged if it doesn't look exactly like mine. Plus, I've been painting for a lot longer than a lot of people have. Probably if you're brand new to painting, then I've got a pretty good head start on you. by about 30 years. So, you know, I'm going to just naturally, it's going to come a little bit easier to me just because I've done it longer. It doesn't mean that you don't have the talent to do it or that you can't learn to do it. It's just going to be, you know, it's just going to be the fact that I'm not going to play like a seasoned musician if I sit down to play the piano for the first time either. And that's the same thing with art. But somehow with art, people think that they don't have talent if they can't do it the first time they pick up a brush. And that is so not true. I don't really know why that is. It's only, I don't really see that phenomenon with a lot of other things. It's just like somehow with art, people, you know, they've tried it and they just like, no, I can't do it. You know, if it doesn't come super easily. And there's some paintings. This one's probably not one that I would suggest to start out with, just because it's definitely, you know, got some more advanced techniques. So I would start out with some paintings that are a little bit easier. Get some confidence under your, you know, under your belt. Try a few that are in the beginner. If it says easy in the title, then you know that that's, you know, a great one to start with. Those are the ones that, any of the ones that say easy are the ones that I suggest for beginners. If they don't say easy, then that means that they're either intermediate or pretty difficult. And you can also tell by the length of the video how hard it's going to be. So if it takes me 3, 4, 5 hours to do it, you know it's going to take you probably twice that long or longer, you know, and it's going to be much more difficult than a 1-hour painting. So I don't know why I'm talking about this stuff today, but it's been a while since I've talked
I was just going to recommend that people put small paintings under their belt.
Yeah.
If they're going to get a few under their belt, so it'd be easier to walk around. You know, like 4x4s or something.
I say the panels are probably easier to fit. You could fit several panels.
True.
I bet you could get 10 of them in there easily.
It'll give you that flat stomach look.
Right, exactly.
Okay, yeah, so you might go with those larger panels.
Depends on how tall you are. If you're pretty short, then I would go with an 8x10. Sorry.
And do them parallel to your body, not perpendicular.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Check. Mixing some of the sky blue color with the Quinacridone burnt orange here. I'm going to use that on the clouds in here. This is maybe a little bit dark. Actually, let me get this Unbleached Titanium. That'll soften it up. It's got a little bit of the yellow tones in it already, so kind of very light touch. See how fuzzy my brush is? Not loaded down with very much paint. So very lightly just touching down a little bit of paint, and then I can wipe it off and go back in and kind of smush it around a little bit. This is where your smushing comes in, hon. I don't know why I'm connecting those because they're not connected in the picture. Let me take that.
But in your world, they are.
In my world, they did get connected somehow. They want to be friends right
but
there.
No more.
No more.
No more holding hands.
Stay away. Alright, so... It's okay if you go a little bit dark. You can always cover it up. So that's a nice thing about acrylics too, is they're pretty easy to layer. So none of your quote unquote mistakes can be kind of fixed. I'm gonna grab some of this Indian Yellow Hue right up near the sun there. Yeah, that's a good color. So it's mixing with these other colors and they're all blending to make this really pretty, kind of gray, soft gray, yellow, right near our sun. And I'm going to go kind of through right up to it, and then I'm going to grab a lot of that white and just kind of smush back in with that white over the top and kind of blend those two where they meet. So just where that white and the yellow meat, blend those two together, maybe get a little bit of that cadmium yellow in there so that it's kind of that background color a little bit. There we go. Trying to match up this color that's in our background sky. Right there near the sun. There we go. See how just making it really hazy right there. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. I may have you clean out my water for me if you don't mind, huh? Let me put out some more of my titanium white here. Got a lot of green going on in my sky. Thanks. I'm going to put out just a little bit more of my zinc white. I'm running low. Okay, let's get some of that. And there's a few more clouds in here that we haven't put in yet, so just going to put an indication of some of these fluffy clouds in here. Haze over some of what we've already done. Brighten them up a bit. So putting that zinc white over the top of those clouds there will have flies driving me bananas. He's been in my studio. Well, it's probably not the same one. They've been walking in and out with stuff and just there are flies everywhere. I will be glad when we get a door on this studio. If you're new to our channel, we're renovated our entire house. We did the studio first. That was like the number one. They got it done in a week though, so that was good. They didn't get the closet door done, but that should be up this week sometime, first thing. Probably Monday, I'm guessing. So we moved to the bigger room. We booted our 17-year-old out of his old room, which was the big room in the house. Relegated him back to his old bedroom that was the medium, well, not counting the master bath, but medium. So that's where my studio's been for the last, I don't know how long. We've been in there for a while since I started doing the YouTube regularly, probably 2014, probably. I think maybe 15. So it's time for an upgrade. It was time for, we were busting at the seams. Mark was sitting in the corner and now he's got his own big space.
So we started in the smallest room of the house.
Yes.
Then expanded to the next smallest,
Right.
next one up. That's when I
Right.
joined
Yes.
the company.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in the next larger room.
Yes. Pretty soon we're gonna be
In the living room.
in the living room, or
Angela has a tendency to grow into her space when it comes to art. She's like, it's just like her painting. Oh, look at that empty spot right there. I need to fill that in with some flowers.
exactly.
It's like, oh, look at that empty spot. I need some more art stuff
I
right
think
there.
I need art stuff in there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So did you see what I did there? I kind of went back in with my light blue color and I kind of filled in some of those areas where I felt like it was a little, yeah. So I'm sure we'll fill this space up lickety split. It's already almost full, and we are selling a lot of the older stuff from when I used to do kids classes. I'm selling a lot of my kids.
Your fly friend is over here.
I know. I was saying it's like he's driving me crazy. He's been. I don't think it's the same one. Yeah, there is. It's on that thing. Good luck with that.
Okay, if they hear crush.
As soon as the fly swatter comes out, they disappear. I think they could smell it. I'm serious. They know. Okay. So now I need to go in here. That was more that quinacridone burnt orange. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of it with my zinc white and use it with some glazing liquid and just glaze this part of the sky here. Get some of that glowing color back in down here. Gonna tint that sky. And the less, more paint, less glazing liquid you use, the more obvious it'll be. So that's just however much you want it to do. I went over the top of those mountains some too with that yellow and zinc white mixture when I was doing the clouds over here. I don't think I mentioned it. I was talking about something else. I am talking a lot today, sorry. Got a lot to complain about. Tile. I learned more about tile in the last 2 days than I ever wanted to know. That's all I'm saying. You don't order the right kind of tile. Or enough. Or both, which is my case.
There was math involved.
There was math involved, and I went with the guy who was completely distracted and definitely knows how to do his job, but probably wasn't really on the ball that day because we didn't get the right number of tiles. I just gave him the square footage and told him what we needed and where. And he gave me too little tile for it. Check. Mission accomplished. And no tile spacers, and no, so I've like gone back and forth, and this place is not close to us at all. So I've made multiple trips to this place on the extreme far end of the other side of town.
I'm shitting a tear.
Like, not like I don't have anything else to do. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, what do people do and when they're like not at home and having to go through this? That's what I want to know, because like, fortunately, I can make my own hours and stop what I'm doing to go get tile spacers when they need them, but I don't know. It's a mystery. I feel for anybody going through this. I have a whole new... Our friend Day went through this for an entire year. Their house was flooded while they were on vacation. They had to replace basically their entire inside of the house. It took a full year. So I think I would be bananas by then. It's been 2 weeks and I'm already like pulling my hair out. Okay, sorry. I will stop talking about that. So I'm just going in. I softened up everything with yellow. I'm just kind of looking to see where I need maybe a little bit more glow, a little bit more of the brighter colors. I need a little bit more depth up in here. So I'm just trying to keep everything very blendy though. That's the main thing. Just kind of slowly working up my layers. And if I do get anything too solid, which these were looking kind of solid, I'll just go back in with some of that blue that I mixed up, that's my sky color, and just kind of tap that back in over the top to soften up that area. So like right in here, I can do that. What were you starting to say, hon?
I was like, yeah, let's get back to painting.
Back to painting, okay. Sorry. What?
Spencer in the background.
Yeah, I know. He's having snacks.
Snacks without me?
Okay, I like that. It's pretty soft. I'm going to let that dry completely, and then we'll do some more streaking on our sun. But we'll do it over the top of everything. We'll do these kind of starburst thing, and it'll all come together. That's the hope, at least. So let's put some of this kind of rosy color up in here. A little bit more of that there. And then let's start working on our landscape. Okay, so what was our color back here? This was, I think it was our Indian yellow and green, right? I think. Yeah, that looks the same.
I have no idea.
I know. I don't know why I asked you.
I figured you weren't, so.
I probably wasn't for the most part, so I thought I'd throw it out there though. Okay, so I'm going to grab some of this sky color. And really the sky color right there is more that yellow color. He is really loud with those snacks, isn't he? Everybody's hearing the munching. And the chair creaking. It's alright.
Focus.
I know. Okay, so just adding one more layer of the kind of light green here. Right along that edge. Really light. And then get some of the green, and I'm going to mix it with this brown color that gray color that we made. And then mix that with the color that's there. So just a shade darker, and I'm going to use that to kind of put some detail in those mountains there. That's probably a little too teal, so I'm going to a little bit more. Let's get some of the yellow oxide. That'll tone it down. Yellow oxide, a little bit more of that gray color. There we go. Okay. So there's, okay, his chair's about to drive me bananas. It needs to stop. Thank you. I don't know if anybody else could hear it, but that was really annoying.
I could have just yelled, shut up real loud.
Probably. That's what we would have done if we weren't on
If
air.
we weren't on live?
Right.
No, we're very controlled people. Very polite. Excuse me, young man, but if you would be so kind to refrain from...
Would you mind very much if you would...
Yes, if it wasn't too troubling.
Might you stop squeaking your chair, sir?
We understand if you can't, but...
I'm only laughing because that's so funny. Not. Oh my gosh, burnt sienna here. Okay, so I mixed up some burnt umber there with that green to make it a little bit more neutral right in here. It seems to have done a little bit better job of it. And I'm going to go right up along that tree line. There's kind of a wedge shape here that happens. There's two. There's kind of a tree line that comes across here. There's just a little wedge right in here of other. Okay, he's gonna have to like go in our bedroom or something. Take the laptop and go somewhere else. You're using the laptop? Okay, well, go read a book, Spencer. That's what's gonna have to happen if that squeaking doesn't stop. I'm about to lose it.
Well, hopefully.
Well, I've noticed that what it is that when I'm getting into the painting and stuff, it's like anything, like when you're making noise in the studio, it's the same thing. It's like anything that kind of takes me out of the zone of whatever this creative thing is, it is just distracting enough to kind of remove me from the process, and then I am aware of my surroundings, and it.
Oh, so you're saying you're like a golfer?
I am. Yes, it's exactly like that.
So should I stand here with little signs that say quiet?
Yes, do. Say yes. I need. I can do it with music. It's like the unexpected noises that I think are what it is. I don't know. I'm already kind of stressed out today, so it's just that, I think. Okay, I just smushed that brush out so that it made a little bit more of a fuzzy line there. Mark's trying to be quiet too now. Getting in this chair really quiet. It's like, don't wake the beast.
I'm not breathing.
The Smeagol, what's the name of that dragon? Just opened its eyes. It's one eye. It's looking at you from over here. It's like,
Oh, I don't know.
what was the name of that? Smog.
Oh, Smog?
Yeah.
Oh, from the
Yeah.
Hobbit movies?
Right. It's like, be real quiet. She's gonna open her eye. Look at you.
I've had that look.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you have. I've perfected it. I'm really good at it. Okay. People are going to think I'm really mean. Really not, I promise.
She's not. That's why I tease her about it.
Thank you, honey.
And I'm not blinking.
Wink, wink.
Trying to send messages.
Morse code help. SOS. Help me. I have gotten messages on YouTube accusing me being grading to you, all kinds of stuff. I've gotten all kinds of accusations. You've got a lot of people that are making sure that I don't mistreat you.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a lot of
I got my posse.
support. You do. Somebody sent Mark a Tesla.
Yeah.
Where's your
Yes,
Tesla?
it's over back here.
We'll have to show that later.
It's in the newsletter.
Yeah, I did a newsletter.
If you hadn't already, sign up for the newsletter.
You need to. We've been having fun. We have a section now where we share kind of something fun that somebody shared with us. And this week we shared a stool that somebody had painted from one of my paintings that turned out really cool. And then, all right, so
Real quick,
just kind of going back over this with these lighter colors. You can see kind of the mixtures that I've made here, and I'm just kind of going back and forth. There's really not any rhyme or reason to it, just kind of trying to get a little bit of contrast between these so that's not all the same back there. What?
They would like to know what size brush you are using right now.
This is the 3/8 inch Willow's Blender, which I probably could use a smaller one back in here. It's pretty tight, but it seems to be working okay. So I'm sticking with it for now. All right, so getting some of this. This is that dark gray, so I keep tapping into that. That's the blue, ultramarine blue, and burnt umber mixture that we mixed earlier. This is the blue, more of blue version over here. So actually I'm going to grab a little bit of that bluer version because we did sort of more teal on this side. And I'm going to grab some more green. And tap that in right in here. And I'm letting some of that background color show through so that it's already kind of just giving it its own little texture. Oh my God, how many snacks are we eating over there? We can hear you whispering. Just saying. Spencer, just go in my bedroom, please, while I'm doing this, please.
I've got it under control.
Okay. It's gonna be well. He's been in this room before.
This is going to be one heck of a video.
I know. Bless him. Bless him. If anybody's still watching,
I
thank
don't
you.
think the sounds aren't really coming through too much.
Oh,
on
that's
the
good.
thing, so.
Okay. They're not hearing it. We are.
And somebody said it's so soothing, so
Oh,
hopefully we're still
hearing-
soothing.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Oh, I like it. It's so pretty. I like these kind of pastoral scenes like this, so I want to go there. Actually, there's something that looks very sort of similar to this, only it's kind of a white picket fence right down the street from us. It's really pretty. I'm just glad it didn't turn out to be a hog farm.
So somebody asked,
Going a little bit lighter here, getting these highlights on some of these meadows back there. Yep.
somebody said that their paints seem to dry out even if they try spraying them.
Okay.
Are there any other tips or tricks?
I mean, there are palettes that are designed for keeping your paints wet. They're stay wet palettes. And I think I have one in my Amazon list that I've used before that works pretty well. The reason I don't tend to use them for the videos is because they, you have to prep them just a certain way, and I just don't usually have time to remember to do it. And so I just end up going with these other palettes. But you have to wet them down ahead of time and soak them, for a certain amount of minutes and do certain things to them. But once you get them working, they actually work really well, and they do keep your paints dry or wet while you're working, so keep them from drying out. That's what I meant to say. This color is, I don't even know what that color was. I think that was the yellow, Indian yellow with the green and a little bit of brown here. So this is what I'm using here, just to kind of highlight some of these. I'm going to throw it in here just on top of some of this darker areas and wherever you need a little boost of color. In these distant hills. Okay. And then I'm going to use a little bit of burnt sienna to kind of go around the edges of those to kind of blend them in a little bit. What are you laughing at?
Just something somebody posted on Facebook.
In our group?
No. Our friend Rob.
Rob McCormick?
Yep.
What did he post?
He said, do you remember before the internet that it was thought that the cause of collective stupidity was a lack of access to information? Well, it wasn't that.
That's good. That's good. All right, so I went in with a little bit of yellow oxide here and just kind of add a little hill here. We're just kind of trying to add these little rolling hills back behind our little cottage here. So this one here, we're going to get a little bit more bright. We get some of this Indian yellow with the white, almost the same color as the sky here, and right across here I'm going to burn it up right there where that side, the sun's hitting it, and then like right here too. Just on top, and just a little bit of dry brush on there, and then maybe a little bit right in here. Okay. Okay, hair's coming up. Alright, I'm going to go with my smaller Willows blender here. Get a little bit of that dark green. Mix it with the lighter green from over here. A little bit of burnt sienna. It's kind of a reddish brown color. Or reddish green. That's what I meant to say. And I'm going to turn it on its end here, and I'm just tapping in some little tree shapes. I'm going to get some of that darker color and go along here. Just the indication of some trees. Just by doing these kind of vertical lines, your eye's going to go, oh, that's a tree. Don't have to put a lot of detail in here. In fact, we don't want a lot of detail because these are so far away. You're not going to be able to discern any particular, things about it. It's just needs a little bump here and there, just little dabs. Can you see that? So we've already got all these other things going on. We're just kind of going back in here now and adding just a few little random spots where there might be a little bit darker. Go along the bottom. So I know what you're doing now. You're checking Facebook instead of watching chat. I see what you're doing.
I'm seeing if anybody's made any comments in the group.
About
the, I post prior to us going live, reminding people.
Oh, right. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's use this darker color right in here to create our little, now these ones are closer to us, so they're going to have a little bit more detail, so I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate about how I'm painting them. Gives them a little bit more regular shape and thought. Okay, and then this area just above our tree line here, I'm going to use that same color, but I'm going to add some of that sky color. That's that yellow, shiny yellow from our sun to that dark brown gray green. So these trees are going to get just a little bit of that right in here. See that? So the tops of them that are coming up over are catching some light. They're going to be a little bit lighter. Going to be a little bit more green in there, but not much. They're pretty. I'm going to get that, mix that Indian yellow color with it though. There we go. These trees are kind of growing kind of pointy on the tops. And then right about at that fence post, they start to kind of fade out. So I'm going to use this color down here, but there's not a whole lot left in my brush. So it's just kind of dabbing a little bit of this color down, but it's brightest right up at that top there. And let's add some really bright right in here too. On top of these. Just right there. There's a little bit of it right in here on these trees. I'll grab some of that burnt sienna, mix that with that color, use it in here. And so now I've got to bring this up because I've got that line there I need to cover. So that was my line of kind of where I wanted my horizon line to go to. And I'm making sure that I'm leaving lots of open sky space up at the top here. Get some of that darker color. Bring it up in. Okay. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I was just noticing our fly friend hasn't come back.
Yeah, you got this fly swatter out. He takes off as soon as I get it out. He's smart. He'll wait until I'm, I'm holding a box or something that where I can't get away, and he'll just land on me. And just keep landing on me until I, put the box down and go get the fly swatter, and then he flies away. That's been our MO pretty much this week in the studio. He's taunting me. Okay, so a little bit of glow up there. I'm going to add a little bit more. I may have to let that dry a little bit because it doesn't seem like it wants to stick. Let's see if I can get a little bit of this. Yeah, it's just going to lift in a little bit. So we'll put a little bit more of that kind of brownish glow color up in there in the bushes. But let's grab a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium with our Indian yellow green color here. See if that's gonna probably show way up. Let's get maybe too much. That's not too bad. Just keep it. These highlight areas will draw your eye in, so just keep them very subtle. Don't let them overpower your painting. Just small areas. Okay, yeah, so that's starting to dry, so it's lifting off that color. Put a little bit thicker paint in there and then leave it alone. Yeah, he's landing on my canvas. He's over here. He's landing on my canvas just now. You heard us talking about him. Okay, so I'm just going to have to let that go. But you can kind of see he has very, very subtle change there. Colors. Okay, let's go. I'm going to use this color. Whoop, this dark green. I thought I had dark green on there, but I guess I didn't. I'm going to use it up in here and drag some grassy shapes into over the top of my fence. And I want to make sure that I don't have this kind of weird line around my fence, so go right up over the top of it. I'm going to end up with a halo color that stops. Okay. It's looking good. Happy with it. I definitely think I need a little bit more yellow. That's still looking a little bit like too pale. Like it's a little bit more yellow tones. Okay, there he is. He's back. So once our sky is dry, I think I'm going to glaze with the yellow and then do the white streaks over the top. So I'll glaze with both. So we get the full effect. I think I'm going to go back to this bigger brush here and we'll add our kind of golden grasses back in here. So just working from the far back to the foreground, right? Let's grab a little bit of the Quinacridone burnt orange and the Indian yellow. Some unbleached titanium. A little bit of burnt sienna. Just gonna have a little bit of a brown layer right in here between this grass and the greenery behind it. And I do want to kind of clean up that edge of the grass right here. I'm just going to go and kind of soften up that transition between those trees and the grasses. And there are some small trees in here that I want to get in there, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to get some of this lighter green and put in some highlights on some trees back here. Burnt sienna and phthalo green with a little bit of the unbleached titanium. Okay. Alrighty. Just getting in this green. Doesn't. Getting some of the lighter green and just kind of highlighting these, this hill a little bit. Just kind of running it side by side here, right up to that brown line that we put in there. There's a little bit of darker green. Right in here. Bush or something. And there's like a shadow of that house kind of running this way. So there's kind of a line of lighter going right above it, and then right here there's kind of a shadow from that house out to toward the road. Thank you, hon.
For your spray bottle, does it have a battery? Is it battery operated?
No.
No?
No, it's just it's a fine mist. It's made for hairdressers. It's a fine mist spray. It's continuous spray, so you just you do it once and it spray. So you just kind of I just squirt it and I just hold it and kind of run it back and forth until it runs out of steam.
Do you have that in your Amazon store?
Yep, it's in my acrylic painting supply list. I do, along with the new glass palette that Lori sent me. Okay. So let's get here. Actually, let's go ahead and do our little house while we're at it. Let me see. I think I'm just going to use my number 2 round for it. And I can't even really tell what color that is. It's all kind of blending together. Let's mix some burnt sienna with burnt umber. I'm going to add a little bit of the blue gray. Looks good. Do that right here. And then on the roof, kind of more of a lighter gray, to that blue gray, some of the white.
So it's good to see my tank video is still holding the record.
Worst video record ever. Yeah. I know.
Got one of the lower views and
Tank.
most dislikes. So.
Yep. There's a lot of tank haters out there. Nobody.
Yeah.
We paint flowers here. Don't be starting with the tanks. That's all we're saying. Don't even get any ideas about that. We have definite what we want you to paint, and that's not it.
So if you haven't had a chance
Let
to
me zoom in here.
dislike,
The thumbs down.
go on over there, express your hatred.
Express your hatred for tanks. Yeah. Why not? Poor Mark. I only did that for you, and nobody appreciates it.
I know.
And we couldn't even do it live on YouTube. That was the problem.
Yeah.
It was like the YouTube gods were saying, no, don't do it.
You don't want to do this, and they were right.
You really don't want to do this. We're like, yes, we do. No, you pretty much don't. We tried to warn you. Thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down. The side of the house, I'm not really minding that color much, so I'm just going to add a little bit of the unbleached titanium to the color that I used on the front, and definitely getting more sun on this side. So do not get caught up in adding a ton of detail to this. It will not be able to be viewed from this far away. So I'm going to get some of the Cadmium Red Light with my white hair. Put it right in here. It's like a glow coming out of that house right there. There's a darker line right here for the door. Darker right here. And I'm going to get some white in my gray. That blue-gray color. So just a little bit darker on this side. There we go. There's kind of a separation right here where this gable happens. The roof has a different pitch right there. Okay, let's get a little bit of this darker brown here. Kind of do a shadow underneath the roof line. This line comes up Okay, I'm gonna call that good enough. Let's work in our field here. Get those golden grasses happening. Maybe that Indian yellow, a little bit of cadmium yellow, and my unbleached titanium. These are brightest grasses. They can be quite bright. Right here. Just gonna ignore my fence and just go right across here. Maybe even a little bit of white to really brighten it up right along that line. Tapping so that I get that kind of fuzzy grass texture. But I definitely need more yellow. There we go. Indian yellow. Can see how, oh, zoom out, hun. I'm way too close. Okay. Thanks. Kind of lost that brown section right there. I need to put that back in there. A bright yellow with just a little bit of white. Just set my brush down and kind of flick it upwards to create these sort of fuzzy ends, especially over this dark area where you can kind of really see it right in there. Okay, and tapping down. Over the top of that green, you can see how it's kind of, can you see that? It's kind of making it look like grasses, things. And just kind of running this, almost dry brushing. Okay. Let's tap some of this color along the road here. Side of the road. Coming down and then over here in this field. middle of our road. Get a little bit of the green and brown color. Mix it with this and just add that.
Somebody would like to know, what is that vibrant orange on your palette?
That's Cadmium Red Light.
CRL for you engineers out there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Going in with some dark green here, adding a little bit more of the dark green textures to the side of the road here. Around our rock here. Adding some shadows. Gets real dark right in here in the background. Underneath all of our grasses. This is that brown and burnt umber and ultramarine blue mixture here. In case you're wondering what I'm dipping into over there, that brown color is that color that we mixed up with the ultramarine blue and burnt umber. And I've added green to it. Right in here. So I'm going to add these shadows in so that when I do my grasses, I have something for them to play off of. If I don't do that, then they will just be a little bit more flat and there won't be a lot of contrast. So we want nice contrast in here with our grasses, so we're putting lots of deep dark colors underneath. Especially right up next to our fence here where we're going to be losing our fence in that grass. Okay. Go ahead and glaze my sky now while I'm thinking about it, and that way it'll have time to dry before we do our white over the top. So I'm going to use the cadmium or the Indian Yellow Hue and the glazing liquid here. I'm going to glaze over my sky and my trees all in here. Just trying to keep it light, work small sections. That'll really add that yellow glow that we need in our sky. You can use use it on your grasses down here if you need to bump up the highlight. But there we go. Now we got a little bit more. It looks a little bit more like our reference. Got that golden feel. More. And I'm going to add a little zinc white here. I'm going to go over this area. Just really make that more pale. Zinc white will just help kind of obscure it a little bit. Go right up along the top of the trees here and just tapping in this color.
What's your glaze mixture?
Indian Yellow Hue and glazing liquid, and then I added a little bit of zinc white. So I'm adding. Okay, that's good. Let's use a fan brush now. I'm going to use a little bit of the titanium white in my unbleached titanium. A little bit of cadmium yellow. There we go. I'm going to try to get some grasses up in here. In here we're starting to see the little bit taller grasses emerge. Can I use a little bit more of the darker colors there? There we go. Tap. Create those like little seed pod heads that you're seeing. Just little dots that indicate something happening there in the grasses. And down in here I'm going to add a little bit more of my green and some of that yellow oxide. Go all the way across, go over the top of my rails, don't stop. All the way up. Okay, get a little bit of that brown with my green and yellow and Indian yellow. Get some green here. If you add a little bit of water, it can come off your fan brush a little bit easier. There we go. And once we get here, I'm pretty much going to have to stop because I've got to put my fence in before I do any more of the ones in front. But I wanted to get some grasses kind of behind the fence and between the fence posts. Back in here first. Get some burnt orange with my Indian yellow. Still got this green on my brush. Use it back here. A lot of browns and grasses. Don't forget your browns. Makes them look more natural. We are getting close. To our fence.
I was going to say close to what?
To our fence, putting our fence in.
Okay, definitely not being done.
No, but this part's going to go fairly quickly. I mean, the fence isn't particularly difficult, and the grasses go pretty fast too with these fan brushes and stuff. Okay, I'll just wiggle my brush here, side to side here, and add some short grasses. I'll let some spiky things happen. Short. There's all kinds of size grasses in here, so I'm gonna have some short ones down and low, some taller ones taking the attention, but there are all kinds of different size grasses in here, so go in here with some of the darker again. Okay. Get this small Willow's blender here. I'm going to get some of the blue that we used in the house roof. I'm going to use that on our road over here. I'm just going to tap in, kind of wiggle side to side here, show where our road is going. And right about when it gets to the fence post that's right here, it's going to turn. It's going to turn and then do this little S curve right here. This brush is too big. Around this corner here. Let's get some of this golden color. These grasses kind of overlapping the road right there. We had one of these gravel roads in our first house. Then we
Yes, we did.
it was not fun.
And we had a hand dug well.
Yes, we did. So all of our clothes turned orange.
Yeah, there was a little bit of rust in the...
My hair was very orange. We didn't have a filter for it. Do my laundry at my mom's house.
The good old days.
Yes. Come a long way. Okay, so he's so cute. Love it. Our little road here. Give him a little bit of light right there where it comes around. We've definitely seen better days. Just obscuring those edges so we don't have like any hard crisp edges on our road here. And the line actually at the top here goes, I'm drawing it a little bit wrong here. This, as it comes around here, it's actually taking up more of the space. And this middle line is going right to the top, almost right up against that top edge of the road. There we go. And then I'm gonna use some of this greenery here and just tap in kind of sort of some layers along that road. So sort of zigzags that edge out. There we go. Okay. Do some light grasses. Right here. Along the front edge of that road. Setting my brush down, just kind of flicking it up. Okay. See how I'm kind of changing direction of my grasses? That really helps. And I'm overlapping them so that they're doing like this instead of lining up straight like this. Kind of some of them are going in different directions. It'll make it more natural looking. Some of them are kind of curving in different directions. So let's, before I get too much going on, I need to get my fence in there. So this is where I'm going to get my... Oh, I need to do the small pieces of fence, don't I?
So the grasses look more natural when they have jazz hands?
What?
So then grasses look more natural when they have jazz hands?
Who knew, right?
There's an art tip you don't get everywhere.
Oh my God. Yep. I appreciate that. Very true. Okay, so here's our big old post right here. It's kind of going at an angle right here. Down into our grasses, it's leaning over. And it doesn't quite go all the way to the top of that. So then we're seeing another post here. A shorter one here. As they're going away from us, they're getting shorter. And then right at that corner there, we're going to come around and start coming in this way. They go down, kind of dip down. And then there is a rail that kind of comes across here. So we're seeing a dark part there, and then we're seeing a dark part here, and I'm not sure what that is, but then I might zoom in a little bit. I feel like we're kind of far away here. Here we go. And put some highlights in. Not all of them need highlights, just a few of them. The ones way back here, you're not seeing a whole lot of them at all. They're just, you know they're there, but you don't really see them. I'm going to get some of that grass. Separate out with the grass there if I need to. Okay. And just make sure that this one right here is nice and dark. Right there and right here. Okay. And there is one that's kind of hiding back here behind this one. This one's got some light on this side of it. Getting some burnt sienna there to make it more tan. Get that darker color again. Along that back side. Let's get some blue for this one. Mix up some ultramarine blue plus white there. I'm going to use that on my fence to shadow some of these posts that are in this shade. I'm also going to use it a little bit on the road. You get a little bit darker green here. Bring that darker green down right on top of that road right there. It stops. It kind of cuts off that part of the canvas right there. Okay, I'm going to get some of this unbleached titanium and put in this fence post here. Grab the burnt umber. Get some of that blue mixture. Use it on the back side of it. And I'm just kind of pulling from side to side here, so I'm getting kind of a rough texture. And then kind of where they meet, I'm going to come in with a third color and just kind of tap in across that. I'll blend those two together. Add a little bit of this Indian yellow color to this unbleached titanium. Use it to add a little bit of yellow glow to the fence post there. There we go. Let's keep on moving here. This one. That Indian yellow. Unbleached titanium. I went at an angle a little bit, a little tilted. Let's get some of this burnt sienna, burnt umber. Do the darker right here. How you doing, hon? Hanging in there?
Yes.
To be a long one.
Yeah, I'm having fun by dropping earworms on everybody.
Uh-oh. What kind of earworms? Do I want to know? Do I not want to know?
Depends. Do you want to be singing along with everybody?
Uh-oh. What are they singing?
Well, we started out with shout, let it all out.
Right.
Then Almost Heaven, West Virginia.
So was your doing an 80s?
Because
80s recap?
somebody said that the scene reminded them of a West Virginian farm scene.
That's a John Denver song, isn't it?
Yep. Then somebody said as long as it's not Baby Shark, they're okay.
Yeah.
And then I said maybe John Denver singing Baby Shark.
That's a big fat no right there.
And I'm not
Burnt
sure.
sienna along that to give it that glow. What? And then I just kind of am dragging it up to I just use a tip and draw in my little knot. Go for it. What?
And nobody's picked up on my, you should see me in a crown.
Oh, really?
I got a question mark. A crown? What?
They're not Billie Eilish fans. Okay. Check.
Checking out the what is it called? Is it age groups?
Demographic?
Demographics, thank you. Of the
Yeah.
live fans right now.
Probably not. Not Billie Eilish fans. I do have unusual music tastes for my age.
We got somebody chiming in on chat now.
Nice.
Your silence is my favorite sound.
Nice. Sounds like you guys are having fun.
Yeah, we are.
Good. I am too. I just don't get to participate with you guys, sadly. Oh, was I off camera that whole time? Probably.
You're starting to as you're going down the
Okay.
fence line.
Okay. Get a little bit of this lighter color here, add it to the knot in my wood. Let's use this light brown mixture for our rock. I'm going to add a little bit of the blue gray to it too. I like to use blue in my rocks. Kind of lost our bottoms for the rocks. Just give them a little bit of dark around the bottom. I'm just going to kind of tap in where they kind of go from the top part, this catching the light to the shadowed area. Just tapping over that, blending it in a little bit. You could leave those out if you don't want to put those in. It's totally up to you. Let's keep on going here with our wood. Grab some burnt umber, a little bit of that blue-gray color. And I'm going to use it. It's right here. I almost put it in the wrong spot. It's going right over the top and meeting it up with this one. Burnt umber or burnt sienna with our yellow oxide here. Do that on the end, that log right there, and on this one right here. And I'm going darker than it needs to be because we're going to highlight over the top of these. So if they seem dark, they are. They are on purpose dark. Darker than we want them to be end up. All right. Went with a little bit of black there. That might have been too dark, but we'll see. Okay, we're right here. I'm using that dark blue-gray for this. You can still see just enough of where that fence was. Allow us to put this in here. And if it's too, if it's not right, you can just kind of do like this. I'm gonna kind of obscure that bottom edge a little bit, just by darkening up that whole area. We'll put the grasses on top and it'll all blend in. Okay. Okay, almost there.
Okay, we need to try to get Coca-Cola as a sponsor.
Why?
Because.
Is that what you want right now?
Well, I
Because
mean,
what?
just because. I think it would be a good sponsor.
Okay. Where'd that come from?
Oh, we were just, again, earworm, so I'd like to teach the world to sing.
Oh, okay. All right.
You gotta follow along, keep
I'm
up.
sorry I
Come
asked. On. What?
You need to keep up.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, there's that. I'm gonna get this brush here. I'm gonna use that for the dry brushing of the detail on top of the wood. Get the Ultramarine Blue, some of this burnt Sienna, burnt Umber, and my Unbleached Titanium. And get some of that gray. There we go. Gray brown. I'm just going to use that edge of the brush to dry brush some texture on. And it really could be whatever brush you like for this. It doesn't have to be this one. This one just kind of used because it was going to be close to the right width for these boards. It's a little bit big for these ones, but the ones in the front are going to be just about right. Okay, so setting my brush down. I don't have a whole lot of paint on it, but I do have a little, pretty good amount. And I'm just going to lightly drag it so that it breaks up. Streaks. Do that holding my brush kind of on its edge. There. Lines in it. We can come back through with the dark and add streaks or shadows. I can use the dark underneath here to add a shadow along the bottom. Same with this. Let's use some of the gold. Yellow oxide here with the unbleached titanium. Mix a little bit of that gray with it. Use that toward the top of the rail. And down here it's a little bit darker, so I can darken it up just a little bit. Same deal, but just a little bit darker.
So, when are you going to come and sit in my office while I work?
I don't know.
Okay. You can answer emails or something while I'm working?
Right.
Okay.
I think that's
There's really
only
no...
fair. I need to bring that up just a little bit. I feel like it's a little low. Right there.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep. Okay. Oh. Bring your wife to work day. A little bit more blue and white. A little bit brighter highlight up here. Okay. Get some of that burnt sienna. That over the top. Okay. These ones are a little bit less detailed because they're down low and the grass is covering most of them, so I can't really see what's happening down here, but I'm just going to repeat everything and then we'll cover most of this up with the grass. Get a little bit of that dark color. It's for the bottom edge. Some of these. And then use the brighter color right here along the top. Let that paint skip around.
You didn't tell me that we had to stop and paint the flower tank tops in the store. I might need one.
Oh, yeah. Summertime, right?
3 hours. And then the air came on.
Are you trying to keep it from coming on?
Not really trying hard, no. But hoping that we would make it through without all the noise.
Without a, okay. I, for one, I'm getting hot, so glad it came on.
Getting?
Okay, touching up that end of the board. They're overlapping. Dark. Right. So now let's add some yellow. This is that Indian yellow. Add it over the top here. Glazing a little bit of it on there. And I need some of the brighter right up here. We're just sticking out right there. Go over this with the burnt umber here, just to kind of soften that look a little bit. So you want to get these just where you want them before you try to do any of your grasses. So just take your time on these, get them looking the way you want. You don't want to have to go back and make changes to these when you have your grasses on. You really can't. So if I want to glaze or do anything to them or darken them up or add a shadow or anything, just do it now. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I need to do. These are pretty dark down here. Getting that blue, gray, a little tiny bit of white. Okay. Tone down those rocks just a little bit and define the top border of them. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit brighter just on these boards that are catching that light from the sun right directly down. These ones are just a little bit brighter right here. top of that board too. Put a little shadow right here where this board overlaps this one. So we can use a little glazing liquid, throw brown or gray here really. And shadow right there. Come on. Doesn't want to do it.
We had a question.
Too much of the colors on there. What?
Somebody would like to know, can you mix Indian yellow?
I think so. Let me check the bottle or see if it says on there. Sometimes it'll say the recipe on some of these colors. Sorry, I touched the camera there. Right there, there's a shadow. I'm gonna stop. I'm fussing. Let's get some grasses going here. Yes. It doesn't say. Oh, yes. Nicolazo, Quinacridone, Aureliide Yellow, Nickel Complex, Azo, and Quinacridone. So I'm not sure what that would be. I know Nicolazo Yellow is pretty close to that, so Quinacridone maybe. I'm not sure what Quinacridone is in its raw state. You know, I've seen the orange and the magentas and the violets, so somewhere in that reddish zone. All right, let me see what I want to do here. I think I'm going to use the angle brush at first here, and I'm going to clean off my palette. So I've got a clean spot. Excuse the noise here. It's probably going to not sound great. Try not to cut myself. It really does help spray. I don't know why it helps spraying with water. Somebody told me to do that. It works. Comes off easier. Oh, I just scraped off all my gray. Oh well. Let's mix more. I know the recipe. Mm-hmm. I might not need it. Okay, let's get to the fun part. Flowers. We all know we've waited this whole time just for this part, right? This is the whole point of the painting. Alrighty. Use this real quick with the yellow oxide, yellow oxide. I'm going to add some texture to that board right there. Okay. angle brush. I'm going to grab some green, some of the Indian Yellow Hue, which was my color from up there. So we'll use it down here in our grass. I'll add white. So we'll have that. I'm going to get some Indian or Quinacridone for an orange too. So we'll have some brown grasses, some more yellow grasses over here, and sort of the lighter version. So I'm going to start up next to the fence and obscure the edges of the fence. So I'm going to go right up over the top and add. I'm just using the flat edge of this brush or the pointy end of the brush here. The top of my rocks. Yellow, there we go. So as we get closer to the bottom here, our grasses are going to get longer. So these ones up close to the fence are pretty short, fairly short. They're not super long. Now I've got 3 brushes. Don't try this at home. Just tapping in to obscure any of the grasses that got a little too bold or that I don't really like, or just kind of want to hide the end of it here. I'm just going to kind of scrape in some brown, soften that up. Let's put in some shorter grasses kind of along in here. And I'm also kind of keeping them sort of horizontal, especially back in here. So that's a good little trick for when you're doing landscapes. If you'll keep your kind of grasses or bushes or whatever kind of horizontal, they'll look a little bit more natural. As they go away from you, you're not going to see a rounded end, even if they look around closer up to you because of the angle of it. As they go away from you, that bottom flattens out, so you're going to have kind of more of a flat edge. So anything like this where you're having a tree or a bush or something like that, if you decide to add one in there, it kind of helps if you flatten out that bottom edge of it a little bit. Same thing with our grasses here that we're building in here. If we kind of do layers that have sort of flat bottoms. I know you want to say something about that.
I'm being good.
Okay. Good job.
Thank you.
I know you wanted to say something there. Really bad. I could just feel it from this side of the room. This is a joke waiting to happen right there. Okay.
They probably have a few paintings under their belt.
Okay, here we go. Forgot to put the ones up here tall before I put my fence in. Just a few little ones that are sticking way up there. Okay, I'm gonna grab. Let's grab some cadmium yellow and maybe burnt orange. Just want to make a pale yellow green here. I'm going to use that right here and create some heads on the top of these grasses that are sticking way up above the fence. Just a few of them. And we can do little teeny tiny dots back here too. Again, some burnt umber here to tone them down. Just a few of them. And then go ahead and kind of put them down in the grasses too. Down here. I am not happy with that fence right there. How's it going, hon?
It's going forward. What are we doing for dinner tonight?
I have no idea. You're usually the dinner decider. I chose last night, so you get to choose tonight.
Mexican it is.
Okay. Yum. Use a little bit of dark color to kind of add back in some dark areas in here. I'm just going to tap in some kind of seed pod type stuff. Let's do that over here too. Kind of type in some, and they're kind of leaning this way, like maybe the wind's blowing this way, I don't know. But they do seem to tend to be leaning this way. And let's get out our pictures of our wildflowers that I took. We can see what we're seeing there and add some color to this. So I'm seeing a lot of seed pod type stuff and some thistle. How late are we going? Are we late? We're really late, aren't we?
Late compared to what?
Oh, how long have we been going today?
About 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Ooh, ouch. I didn't really think this one was going to take that long, but there was a lot of details in the background. The hills and stuff.
It takes what it takes.
Right.
We ain't here just to whip it out. We're
That's
here
true.
to make it right.
True.
Take our time, show the techniques, show
Yeah.
the patience, tell some jokes, sing some songs, talk about food, of course, and then paint a little bit.
And a little bit of painting. Okay.
Yes,
Is that the
kind of in that order.
In that order. Okay.
Well, you maybe food first.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me go out, come back in.
Okay. Let's start over. I've got some Quinacridone Magenta on here, which I don't generally like to add a color down here that I haven't used in other places, but I think it's close enough to some of the purple. You know, we've used purple and blue, so it's right in between, so I think it'll be okay. I'm just going to tap in a few little spots here. Maybe there. Keep it random. As we go over here, make them smaller. Let's get some white. Some highlight too. This is almost the exact color of those thistle too. It's that kind of purpley. This was mixed in with that blue-gray color, so it's not just quinacridone. It's got all kinds of other colors in it. It's pretty. I'm just going to go over the top of where we've just done. Just add a highlight to our shadow areas. This is really pretty. I like it. The brighter quinacridone in here just to pump those colors up a little bit, just so you can see them against that green a bit better. Some over the top of the fence so it's not like just going around it. let's add some grass with this brush here, the liner brush. For the liner, we need to add a lot of water. A lot of water. I'm going to use the yellow and some of the Quinacridone burnt orange. Burnt umber. A little bit of green. Sorry, unbleached titanium, I meant to say. My brain is not working right now. Okay, so we're gonna do some very thin and longer lines. Add that glazing liquid so that your paint will stick. When you add this much water, you need kind of a binder in there, so whatever glazing liquid or acrylic medium that you have, you'll need to add just a little bit of it. Just not something that's going to thicken your paint. You need to keep it fluid. So I want to go quite a lot brighter than what we've been doing here. Just really pump up that, bring that grass into focus. These are super thin, so they'll kind of draw the eye more than the ones we've done previous. And make sure that now that, you know, if you've got any areas that, you know, like right up next to your fence post or wherever that need attention, that you do that with this brush now, because this will be kind of one of our last layers. So anything that kind of, any of these fence posts that look like they're floating or something, you can add. Some of this. Okay, I'm going to add little seed pods to the tops of the grasses. Some short ones that kind of overlap. Let's get some of the Indian yellow hue and white.
Somebody asked, is glazing liquid and binding gel the same thing?
Binding gel?
Blending gel. Blending gel, sorry.
Similar, yeah. Glazing liquid thins the color so that you can apply a thin wash. So blending would not necessarily do that, but they do this. They work the same with this. You know, it's just you just want a medium, an acrylic medium, because that's thinned, this thin, so that the water will underbind your paint, just like when we put it over the top of the mountain over here and it lifted that color. That's what water does to, you know, the paint. And so when it dries, it'll leave there's too little binder in your paint when you add a bunch of water to it, but you have to add a lot of water to your sorry, I'm losing my voice. You have to add a lot of water to your brush to get it to work with the liner brush. You can't, it won't work if you have thick paint. So that's the compromise. You just have to add some sort of medium to get it to stick and stay. Which, since this is our last layer, I'm not as worried about, because we're not going to be doing another layer over the top, which would lift, you know, and you can varnish it and seal it in, and it should be fine, but it's just a good practice to And I'm going to run the tip kind of back and forth. What that does is kind of create broken ends. It looks like the grass is bent over maybe a little bit. Sorry. What? What?
You want me to mute?
Oh no, all right. Really hockaloogie there. Sorry. I couldn't resist. Yeah.
Hashtag.
It's so funny. Okay, so let's put in some, I feel like I want some other kinds of flowers in there. Let's put in some yellow flowers. Although, we'll use a little bit of that. Ooh, that's pretty. That cadmium red light. That kind of bottle brush, I think that's what they're called. I can't remember. There's a wildflower that's got this red in it. It's so pretty. So we'll just pepper it with some just other colors of flowers in here. Now that we've got most of our grasses in, we've kind of obscured some of the fence, and we've got what we need here. You can go to town, do whatever kind of flowers that you want, really. You can do little daisies. I've got lots of wildflowers paintings, so you can refer back to some of the other ones if you have something that you particularly want to use. Lavender would be pretty here.
Somebody said Indian paintbrush.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you. What did I call it? I called it something totally not that.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
But yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Thank you. You weren't paying attention. I just got what you said. Oh, it's so much prettier with the flowers. You just have to have it. I don't know. I'm sorry. Sorry. I just got excited. It's so pretty. Let's do it.
Okay, so you know which parrot I am right now?
What?
Did you know which parrot I am right now?
Parrot?
Yeah.
No. Oh. Mark's giving me the hand. I posted a video of his parrot. Oh my gosh, it's like my favorite thing ever. I've been watching it like over and over again. So funny. It's two parrots on a perch, and the guy starts playing a guitar, and one of them starts getting into it, and he's like bobbing his head, and he looks over at
He
the
looks
guy.
over at the other one.
Yeah.
At the other parrot. Like, do you hear that?
Yeah.
And starts,
this is awesome.
Starts bobbing his head.
Yeah. And starts kind of moving over towards him on the perch, until the other one's like right on the end and puts his foot out.
It's like,
no.
Just stop.
Just no. That's not happening. Oh my gosh, that's Mark and I at a concert right there.
So go over to the
Mark's
Thankful
the
Art
one
Facebook.
trying to pretend I'm not with him.
Yeah. Go over to the Thankful Art Facebook group. Check it out.
Is it in there?
I thought you posted it there.
No, I posted on my personal page on Facebook.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Sorry, everybody.
Well, you can still find it. It's public. It's
Oh,
not
okay.
a secret. Just look for me on there. There's probably only about 1 million other Angela Andersons, but hopefully it'll pop up. Okay, I want some white flowers. I'm just trying to, I don't want them to be white, because there's, real white everywhere. So I'm going to do some little daisy type flowers here. A lot of the daisies you're not going to be seeing from the top, so I'm not going to, most of them I'm just going to kind of put kind of from the side here. Sorry, you thought we were done, but we started doing flowers, and now we're gonna be doing this for a while. I'm in my happy place now.
Well, at least we saw the sun a little bit.
At least we what?
We saw the sun a little bit. There'll be flowers covering in here shortly.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I do need to still do the sun. Okay, and so let's put a little of this yellow, little red, but mostly yellow in the centers. Darkened it up just a little bit, but there we go. Nice. It's a nice way to pull that sky color down in here too. Get some of that yellow down in. There we go. Oh, it's so cute. Little daisies. Okay, so let's just do some random yellow here and there. This flower, well, there's a lot of yellow in the grass, so we don't really need a lot of yellow. And I am gonna splatter just a little bit, just down in here, just a little bit of this whitish. Whitish color, because it'll help kind of. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. I don't know why I was putting my finger in it. I was thinking it was a toothbrush. There we go. Just a few little speckles. It'll kind of help that effect. It gives it that kind of sun dappled effect. So kind of like dust motes hitting catching the light. There we go. Okay. And let's put in some sunbeams, and I think we're done. What do you think? I think maybe one more layer of the brighter pink. Let's get a little bit more of those quinacridone and white. Just a few more of the brighter pink over the top, since we did those first and they kind of got covered up by some of the grasses. So just pull some of those out towards the light a little bit. Doesn't have to be all of them, just a few.
Someone has asked, are you going to add the birds?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the birds. Yes, thank you.
They are the words.
Yeah, they are. Let's do that. Good idea. I forgot all about the birds. Let's use that gray, our dark gray color. And let's do our sunlight first, though. So let's do the sun rays first. And I probably got that white up higher than I needed it up there, but that's all right. I'm going to use the Zinc White. Get some to come out. Come on out, Zinc. And some of the glazing liquid. All right. We're going to start at the sun where we want it brightest and just with this, if you have it thinned enough, it should just do these kind of sun rays things. That's all we need. There was some sunspots too, so if you want to do those, you can do the Zinc White with some of this red here. And do some sunspots, but I don't know if I'm not gonna put mine in, but you can add those in if you want to. Okay. Gonna get some of this. Add a little bit of that to the road. And I feel like we can add a little bit more of the, I'm going to glaze a little bit of green with my brown here. So the darker color. Maybe a little purple. And I'm going to glaze in here. Just in some of these areas where if I need a little, now be careful because you don't want to cover over a grass that's in front, but we can add it down in some of these shadow areas and obscure some of the bottoms of the grasses, make them disappear. Just down in here where we kind of have some that are starting out, you know, in the middle of the thing there, we can hide the ends of them by glazing them. So I just start in the dark area and kind of pull up over them and it'll kind of hide where they start. Make them look more mysterious. Okay, I'm getting weird now. Sorry. Getting tired, you can tell. Like, talking in weird voices. Okay. I apologize. You keep it professional. Keep it together. You can do this. All right, birds. Check. All these out of the water. Probably ought to paint my bird or draw my birds, but I'm gonna go for it and hope for the best.
What could go wrong?
I know, right? We can just ruin the whole sky. That's all. Okay, I'm gonna.
So of course, you can do as much or little to your painting as you want.
Right.
If you don't like splatters, don't splatter.
Right.
If you don't like birds, don't birds.
Exactly.
If you don't like flowers, don't flower.
What? No. Go find another tutorial. That's what I say. If you don't like flowers, you're in the wrong place. No, I'm joking. Them's fighting words right there. What? How'd you even stumble upon this channel if you don't like flowers? That's what I wonder. That's all we paint, right? Half the time.
Obviously. Reference tank painting.
I know they came for the tank painting. They're like so disappointed. Like, where's the rest of the? Come on, now. I thought we were painting some good stuff. All right, I'm gonna put some of this gray green up in here. I just feel like it's gonna all the same. Just needs a little something up there. Okay. Birds. Birds. We're doing birds.
I was going to say, this is an odd way to paint birds. Adding more grasses and flowers.
I know. Okay. So I made that dark gray with the burnt umber and burnt, I can't even say it, ultramarine blue. I'm going to try to keep it really small. And it's going right up here. Really tall. Kind of a U shape. And then a V shape right here. Okay. And then two thin lines here. These are barn swallows. Recognize the shape. We have these around our house. Fortunately, they haven't nested in our house. They are our neighbors, though. Man, they get bombarded when they come into their door when they're nesting.
So we have 3 some kind of raptor bird. I don't know if it's a hawk or a falcon or what, but I saw 3 of them out there today.
3 of them?
While I was mowing. They come swooping in and they're cruising, looking, checking out the bird feeders and all that stuff. And
getting a little bit of white here.
And the barn swallows just started dive bombing them.
Really?
And going after them. Yeah, they got near someplace and they just went after them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Chasing them off.
Yeah. Not in my neighborhood.
Not my babies.
All right. Sure, if enough of them get going together, they can be pretty formidable. Okay, so these wings sweep white bar. Okay, I'm not doing a very good job with this. I'm trying to edit it now, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. Made the tail a little bit big. That's close enough, I guess. And this one over here, it's got kind of a Y. It comes forward, looks like that, and then the tail is spread out behind it, and just gonna make the point in front. I think that's a hawk. He just got scared off by the barn swallow. He's going back home. Oh, dang, there's more. Okay. There's this one, more birds. No, it's fine.
I don't think
That
I've
one's
ever.
kind of just an arrow, kind of E-shaped. These ones, what?
I don't think I've ever heard you say, "Oh, dang, there's another flower I gotta paint."
I don't know.
But you did that with the birds.
Okay. Well, sorry.
I see where your loyalties lie.
Yeah. Got a little bit of white up here, belly area. These are really so far away, you're not really seeing a whole lot of detail, so just gonna kind of blend back over them a little bit with some color to kind of soften their edges. Okay. I think I was off camera when I was doing those.
No.
Okay. Zoom back in, out, and we'll be done. Here, let me sign it. And, oi. Sign it over here. Super chat? What? Mark's very hesitant.
A
on the
very
cowbell.
light on the cowbell.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a little bit of grasses over here while you're talking.
So yeah, we need to move the super chat light closer so you can see it on camera.
Okay.
At least I feel good. I know that it's on. So anyways, so we had 2 super chatters today. The first one was from Victoria. And she says, Angela, thanks so much for your teaching. It has helped me so much in my technique and quality of my own painting.
Yay.
So thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, thank you very
That's
much.
great.
I'm very glad to hear that. That's what it's all about for me.
Mm-hmm. And the second one was from Laura, and she says, "Thank you both for all that you do, the great tutorials and help, and thank you for sharing your life in a personal way with the group. It's really nice to see your family and all the fun times you enjoy together."
Oh,
Oh,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Laura.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes I wonder if like anybody cares. Like they probably don't care, but I appreciate that. I'm glad at least Laura cares. I'll know. Next time I wonder if I should post that, I'll just go. Laura would want to know.
Yeah.
That's great. We so appreciate you guys. You literally have changed our lives. You've. It's been amazing. This whole YouTube thing is just such a wild and interesting. Doesn't feel like a job at all. I call it a job, but it's really not for me. I would be painting anyways, so it's just fun to have you guys get to sit in on it with me and enjoy it and chat and all that good stuff. We love it. Hope you do too. So
Who would have thought here in a few weeks you'd be passing the 200,000 subscriber
I know,
mark?
it's just insane. I can't even. I told Mark I really do not think about it at all, ever, because if I do, I would not be able to talk or paint or do anything. I'd be like, oh my gosh, people are watching this. What do I do? I would be so freaked out. So I feel like it's just me and Mark and a few friends watching. So I hope you guys feel that and enjoy it with us. And we so appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch with us. So we will be back on next Saturday. We're still on our summer schedule, so we won't be back Tuesday nights for another till September. We'll be back in September. So we've got a few more weeks of Saturdays only, and then we'll be back to our regular schedule. So yeah, but we've got a full schedule of everything coming up in if you go to my Instagram or Facebook pages, all the links are down in the description. They've got links to the brush guys and all the different places where Amazon store and different things down in the descriptions. You click show more and it'll pop down and you'll be able to see what follow us on Instagram or whatever, and go to our Facebook group and get to vote on things like the barn door color for this new studio and stuff.
Right.
So
Hit the subscribe button.
it's
go
too
over.
late to vote now, though. It's already picked. So
And, yeah, it's already been started painting.
yeah, we've already painted it.
So next Saturday we're doing the purple metal wildflower.
That one I'm really excited about. It's really beautiful. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. You can go to my YouTube page by just clicking my photograph.
Hit
Or
the
my name.
remind, so you'll get an
And yeah,
alert.
you can hit the remind button. Yep, you sure can. I just needed to brighten up that sun there. Sorry. A little bit of titanium white right there. Yeah, they'll send you out an email, but they don't do it right away. So I would still just kind of set your alarm, because we're pretty set every Saturday at 2 p.m. So we're
2 p.m. Central Time in the U.S. So
US,
you
yes.
have to adjust for your time zone.
right. Yes. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. Makes sense.
So look at your clock right now, minus 4 hours, and set your alarm for that time next Saturday.
Thanks, hon. Thanks. That's helpful.
Just trying to help people do the math. That's 4 hours.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm done.
No, I'm being silly.
Is that a
I had no other plans.
hint?
Hey, spending 4 hours with you ain't too bad.
Oh, you're sweet. No. At least you're not having to do the yard work, right? You did that already. You're not having to move boxes. That'll come tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
All right, sorry, I'm just trying to work on the sun here to get it. I kind of added more white and then decided it was too white. And now I added more yellow and then it was too yellow. So now, okay, that's good. I'm done stopping Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.